Hi, I'm Ian Hemphill, otherwise known as Herbie to my friends, because I've been involved with herbs and spices all my life. What I want to talk to you today about is a couple of the books that I've written about herbs and spices. One of them was the first book that I wrote, and the second one is one that my wife Elizabeth joined me in, and she wrote a lot of wonderful recipes and some very interesting parts of that book as well. The first book that I wrote is called Spice Notes and Recipes. This book was first published in 2000, and this is actually the second edition. What's different about the second edition is that it has a lot of additional information in it. It also has more recipes in it. Very proud to say that our eldest daughter, Kate, is a qualified chef who trained at Leith's in London, has grown up with herbs and spices and incorporates them wonderfully into her recipes. So the recipes from Kate are really professional, but also very easy to follow and accessible. What I wanted to achieve with Spice Notes and Recipes was to be able to give people all of the questions that they would like to ask about herbs and spices, but maybe were never game to ask. So every section in the book starts off with a description of that particular spice, so you can get a good understanding of what it's like. We'll tell you a little bit about how it's grown. I will also talk about the harvesting and processing, because this is very important. The way a spice is actually processed is often the way that it gets its flavour, the story of vanilla being just one incredible example. So, as well as then talking about the processing of the spice, I talk about its origin and its history. Where did it come from? What are the fascinating tales that relate to this particular spice? Because don't forget, the spice trade is a very ancient trade, and there are lots of incredible stories that relate to it. We then go on to talk about how to use these, the best way to apply them in cooking. Naturally, the recipes give you a very good idea. But in addition to that, I've also added a section where I give you the quantity to use for 500 grams of red meats, white meats, carbohydrates or vegetables. Because a lot of people are very frightened of using spices and they think that they might use them in the wrong way. So to demystify them, if you've got a good idea as to the quantity that you need to start with, then you're not going to make any mistakes and you'll end up with a lovely balanced meal in the long run. I also talk about the other spices that complement a particular spice. So if we've got a spice like paprika, we'll know that cumin and coriander seed and cloves and allspice and cinnamon will all blend beautifully with that spice as well. So while you can mix all different spices together, there are some that work extra well when they are put together. And then lastly, I've got quite a detailed section on the blending of spices, how to make your own curry powder, your own baharat, your own panchphora, and even your own ras el hanout. So you will find that when you read this section, you'll get a very good idea as to how a spice is used. And very importantly as well, I talk about the different spices that relate to different cuisines. So if you're wanting to create a dish that is characteristically Chinese or characteristically Italian or very distinctly Thai, then you can see the particular spices that you would use to create that. Now, Spice Notes and Recipes is also published in the United States, and in the US it goes under a different name, same content, and it's called the Spice and Herb Bible. And in the Spice and Herb Bible you have all the information that is in Spice Notes. Of course, there are conversions to US imperial measures instead of metric, so you can use it there. And some of the terminology that is used, for instance, coriander is referred to in North America as cilantro. So I make these sort of things quite clear. So really, no matter where you are in the world, you can use that spice and you can understand the best way to really get a great result from it. And then there was a book which has come out quite recently, and this book is called Sticks, Seeds, Pods and Leaves. For those of you who have heard some of my other little pieces to camera, you will have heard me talk about the difference between a herb and a spice. And of course, a herb is the leafy part of the plant, and a spice can come from any other part of the plant, be it the buds, the bark, the roots, the berries, and even the aromatic seeds. Sticks, Seeds, Pods and Leaves is divided into two sections. The first section is all about spices, tells you a lot of information, not in as much detail as spice notes and recipes, but still very good, useful, accessible information. And then there is another section on herbs. So they are separated. Every section has at least 2 or 3 recipes that are all very easy to follow. If you're wanting any more information, you will find a lot on our website. If you go to www.herbies.com.au, you will find a complete list of all the culinary herbs and spices that we sell. And of course, you can order them online. You will see there are pictures there and brief explanations and directions on how to use. Because we like to demystify herbs and spices as much as possible, we welcome any questions or comments from you. Please, if you have a question about a spice, anything you're not sure of, a weird name you've seen in a market overseas somewhere, whatever, please don't hesitate to ask us. We're only too happy to help. So continue to enjoy your spices.